Hello and welcome back to another episode of Erotically Empowered, where we discuss all things pleasure, intimacy, power, and unapologetic confidence. I am your host, Ali Gamolka, and this week's episode is all about taking ownership of your pleasure, because you cannot cultivate and create the pleasure, the intimacy, the orgasmic existence of your dreams if you are not taking full ownership of this. If you are leaving your pleasure in someone else's hands, or we'll just see where this goes, and if my partner is magically able to please me, then I get pleasure. Oh my God, if you leave it up to that, you will never experience what it is you came here to experience. And what you came here to experience while you're listening to this podcast is because you know you were here for more, right? You know you were not here to settle for disconnected intimacy, numbness, this state of suppression with your pleasure. You know you were not here. You were not born for that. You were born for mind-blowing, soul-expanding, deeply connected intimacy and pleasure, right? And in order for you to create that and cultivate that, you need to take ownership that it begins and ends with you. Because it does. Everything in your life is a reflection of you. It is a reflection of what you have created, whether knowingly or unknowingly. And if you haven't consciously created the life you are living now, then you have created this by default, by old programming and subconscious patterns that were imprinted in you from a very young age. And that has resulted in the life you have now and in the places where you may feel stuck. And if you wish to now up level in certain areas, the way to do that is to take full ownership. Full ownership from this moment forward that I am in control. I am the creator of my own destiny. I am the creator of my own pleasure and intimacy and love. It doesn't just happen to me. Again, if you are waiting, okay, so a lot of women, will comment and have commented over the years on my posts, or I see it on other posts online where the women are like, yeah, but, he doesn't want to please me. He doesn't want to please me. And that's why, our sex life is awful and I fake the headache because I don't want it. And my question to you to these women is, number one, where are you not worshiping yourself? You want your man to worship you? Or your woman, whoever your partner is, you want your partner to worship you and create this incredible intimacy with you. Where are you not worshiping yourself? Are you creating this intimacy, this depth of intimacy with yourself? Or are you sitting there expecting and waiting for your lover to create something that you haven't created within yourself? Your lover is reflecting back to you where you are within you. And you need to realize that if you want things to change. It's not just up to chance. It's not just, oh, well, I'm stuck with this. No, you're not stuck with anything. That's victim mentality, and you're not a victim, babe. You are not a victim. You are here because you are a freaking goddess. You are accepting, you have accepted until now, subpar intimacy because you accepted that. And this is not coming from judgment at all. This is not condemning yourself. This is acknowledging that I have what I have now because I accepted that. That's what I chose, whether knowingly or unknowingly. And wow, isn't that empowering to know that? that it didn't just happen. It happened because I chose it and I allowed it. I allowed this man into my life that perhaps, is not the best for me. And wow, that means I get to then choose whether I want him there or not. Or I allowed this relationship to become this disconnected state. And wow, isn't that empowering to know that now I can start to change this and create something different by creating the levels of intimacy I want within myself first. It all begins and ends with you. And it may be quite confronting to hear this, but I want you to feel empowered. If you are sitting there saying that my pleasure and sex life is shit because of my partner and how they don't choose to connect with me, are you honestly going to sit there and say that you don't have a say in this? That you don't have a choice as to how someone connects with you? Is that honestly what you're going to say? No, absolutely not. You need to first take ownership of you allowed this. And now, wow, I get to actually create from here what I desire. The intimacy of my freaking dreams, the intimacy that has me just, oh my God, in tears of joy as to how incredible and deeply connected it feels with my lover. I get to create that. It doesn't just happen magically, whether it happens or not. I get to choose that. And this all begins when I take ownership of my pleasure, when you take ownership of your pleasure. Your life, the way people interact with you, is reflecting back to you what the standards, the boundaries that you hold, and the way on some level that you interact with yourself. If you are allowing someone in your space, let's say they are toxic and perhaps not good for you and, perhaps have zero desire to co-create any kind of epic intimacy with you, that is reflecting back to you the standards you are holding for yourself. Again, if you were a woman who had created this incredible intimacy with yourself, where, oh my God, I just love being with my own body in these moments of self-pleasure because it feels so deeply expansive. It touches my soul. It's so intimate, so raw, so vulnerable. It feels so orgasmic and freeing. If you had created those levels within yourself, would you then be accepting anything less from someone else? No. If you've set these standards within yourself and you know and honor yourself to your highest degree, why would you be allowing someone in your life who doesn't wish to meet you there, to meet you at those levels? It's up to you to set the standards. You are the divine feminine. You attract. The masculine comes towards, the feminine is the flower that attracts the bee. You are responsible for who you attract into your space and how people connect and interact with you. And if you wish for someone to come into your space who worships you, who co-creates this divine, mind-blowing, soul-expanding, deeply connected intimacy with you, you need to set the standards yourself first. You need to make it that this is the way that you connect to yourself. You need to condition your body to not accept anything less. You need to be on that vibration of that is the pleasure that I hold for myself, and that is who I call into my space. And you can transform your current relationship and intimate life if that's what you desire. If you are deeply in love and the intimacy is lacking, you can shift this by shifting this within yourself first. And your lover, your partner, will energetically, naturally rise to meet this, to want to grow with you. They may not have the answers. This is not about, expecting them to know anything, but they will want to grow with you. Or perhaps you will have the answers to know that separately is where you need to go. But it begins and ends with you. You are not a victim. Nothing happens to you. It happens for you because you are creating it. And you, as the divine feminine, need to start connecting to yourself and your body in the way that you wish another to connect to you. Like I just said, you are conditioning yourself. You are conditioning yourself for how incredible it feels to worship yourself, to give yourself time and space to just be, to unfold into your deepest pleasure, to be intimate with yourself. You are conditioning yourself so that anything less, there is no possible way that you could accept that, let alone call that in. The laws of manifestation, the laws of this universe that we are all governed by, whether you realize it or not, you will only attract like attracts like. You will only attract things on the same vibration as you, the same energetic field. This is quantum physics. This is not heebie-jeebie hobo stuff. This is quantum physics. You will attract someone who is on the same field as you and how you connect to yourself. So if you are in an intimate life that is disconnected, feeling just unfulfilling, where are you in alignment with unfulfillment and disconnect? And how can you shift into the state that you need to be in to call that in from your lover or from a new future lover? It's up to you. If the only way that you connect to your body is with a 2-minute quickie with your rose toy or your Hitachi wand, then how in the world can you expect your lover to be creating this mind-blowing intimacy with you? Like, that is wildly unfair on your lover and on yourself. How can you expect anything more than the depth that you have gone with yourself? And again, this is no judgment. My God, I have been there. And, my intimate life many years ago was wildly unfulfilling. And I was frustrated that it wasn't, this mind-blowing experience. I was frustrated that the only way that I could orgasm during it was with vibrating cock ring, and me and my partner had to be in this very specific motion. I was frustrated at this. And you know what? The only way that I ever connected to my own body was a 2-minute quickie with a toy. See how that was reflecting in my intimate life? I had spent a lifetime running from my body and was disconnected. See how that was reflecting in my intimate life, in this disconnected intimacy? How in the world could I expect intimacy to be anything different when that is how I had spent my life connecting to myself? And that is what I was aligned with. And it was when I took ownership of my pleasure and was like, okay, my libido is non-existent. Sex is unfulfilling. I struggle with pleasure because it all stems from me. How can I expect my partner to connect to me in a way that I refuse to connect to with myself? I honestly had not, it was literally often 60 seconds, not even 2 minutes, 60 seconds with my vibrator when it would get me off, that I would connect to that and wham bam, thank you, ma'am. And then I would expect intimacy to be something more than that. Like, what the hell? I couldn't even be intimate with myself any deeper than that. So why would intimacy with another be any deeper? You need to take ownership from this moment forward and start shifting how you connect to yourself. Forget about if you are already in a relationship and you don't know, how are we going to change? Forget about any of that for a moment. Forget about your couples counseling. Forget about any of that. You need to be focusing on you. You're fighting an uphill battle otherwise. If you are trying to create, you're going to counseling, let's say, and you two are sitting there going through all the talk therapy, which talk therapy has its place, but there comes a point where you need to go deeper into the somatic work. But you're sitting there, talking, oh, he doesn't do this or she doesn't do this and blah, blah, blah. And you're fighting an uphill battle because neither of you are actually connecting to yourself in the way that you want your partner to connect to you. It's absurd when we think about it, yet we as humans, until we realize this, we're like, we're fighting this uphill battle. Forget about anything in your relationship and start it with you. Start with your daily connection to yourself. How do you connect to yourself on a daily basis? Ask yourself right now. What do I do on a daily basis to connect to myself and my pleasure? Nothing? I'm not hearing anything. Again, no judgment. But if there's nothing there at the moment, there's your answer. Ask yourself, how often do I immerse myself in a beautiful self-pleasure practice where I connect to myself in the way that I want my lover to connect to me? Where am I not creating this within myself first? And how can I begin to create this? Right, I can set aside time a couple times a week for a deeper self-pleasure practice where I forget about my toy and just immerse myself with my body. And it's probably going to feel boring and awkward to begin with because you've never done this, and that's completely normal. It certainly was for me, and I wanted every part of me to get up and run, and sometimes I did. Every part of me wanted to get up and grab my vibrator, and sometimes I did. But I would sit with myself and realized how boring I thought it was to be with myself without some, adrenaline powered pleasure like my toy. And I realized, wow, if I can't sit with myself, how can I expect to sit with myself in the presence of another? If I can't be intimate with myself, how can I expect myself to be intimate with another? So set aside a couple times a week for those practices to start opening. And all you're doing is being with whatever is in the body. You're not trying to force anything. Pleasure, your natural deepest state of pleasure will arise when you connect to your body, to your erotic energy. And when you are okay with whatever is arising in your body and you create that safety, that's a whole different episode. But start to be with your body. And this is exactly what I teach my clients is we layer. We begin by just first being present in your body, seeing what arises, creating safety to stay. And then we start layering on the deeper, the touch, the awakening, but creating this space to create the levels of pleasure and intimacy you desire within yourself. If you do not want intimacy to perhaps be revolved around when a high-powered toy comes out or when, intimacy that's disconnected or intimacy that is not pleasurable. If you do not want that, stop focusing on that. That's purely a reflection. It's like a mirror. It's like a mirror held up in front of you, reflecting where you are at with you. It's crazy to try and fight that reflection, isn't it? It's crazy to fight that reflection. You need to shift within you and that reflection will change. If your intimacy is disconnected, then use that as a beautiful signpost to go, okay, where am I disconnected from me? If your intimacy is 2-minute quickie, look at where am I unable to stay with myself? If your intimacy is all based around when a toy comes out, have a look at, am I able to create intimacy with myself without a toy? And where in my life can I start making these shifts to create what I want? But ultimately, your pleasure begins and ends with you. And that's so exciting and so empowering to know. Like, get excited about that. That, oh my God, it's not just happening to me. It's happening because this is what I've aligned myself with. And now I get to align myself with something different. Now I get to choose something different. Now I get to awaken what it is I actually freaking want within myself and attract a partner or have my current partner elevate to meet those standards that I condition myself. If you become that woman who is so madly in love with her body, her pleasure, madly in love with who she is, the divine feminine, who spends time connecting and creating this, magical, erotic experience that is just brings her to tears by herself with how mind-blowing, soul-expanding, deeply connected it is. Do you think that you will allow anything less or attract or be aligned with anything less than that? No, because you have conditioned yourself to this. It begins and ends with you, and that is the most empowering. That is sexual empowerment, to know that you have control to create and cultivate the exact intimacy, pleasure, love, connection that you desire. So moving forward from today, ask yourself, what is it that I truly want from intimacy and pleasure, and how can I begin to align myself and create that with myself first?